All right, guys, welcome back for another episode. We're gonna get a little heavy today. I'm just gonna preface that right now. As you
Just a
know,
little
social
bit.
media,
Just a
social
little bit.
media, there's, and I'm, me and Delancey both will always say this. We never take away from people's heartache, from people's stories, from people going through
Mhm,
hardship, from people going through trauma. Really, we will never take
mhm.
away from that, like ever. But some of these things that pop up on here about adoption, it really breaks my heart because this is what scares people. And I'm not saying it's
Mhm,
just with adoption because people like to do it about everything. I mean, for hell's sake, if you look at like the way the world is right now, like seriously,
mhm.
like everybody wants to put fear in everybody so people won't do anything and people speak their truth and then they, you know what I mean? And I think we've
Well,
talked about this
it's
before. Negativity, they suck so many people in because, and I'm not saying one way is right over the other as far as like
right,
adoption goes, but like, and I
right.
know it's different in different countries, but
But
damn.
there's a
Okay,
there's
yeah,
a
you go.
way there's a way to share your message without being a jerk and
Yeah.
without, it's that what is that age old saying, misery loves company. It's
Yeah.
one of those things of why would you want to take, I mean, and you said it and I'm going to reiterate it, that there are people who struggle, there are people who have hardship, there are people who go through hard times. We've interviewed several in our previous episodes, but why would
Yeah.
you want to live in it, and why would you want to fester it, and why would you want to spread it to others? Like, why? I don't, that's the thing that I don't understand. Like when you
No.
sent that, like, and it's in, like, a full disclosure, I one of the main posts that sparked this whole episode for us tonight, um, was a post that Melena had sent me, and I work in, I mean, I'm sure I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. I work in college athletics, and the team, the school university that I work for, or that I work with, we had a Conference USA baseball tournament, then we had a regional tournament, and then we had a super regional tournament. And when Milena sent me this one post, I read the first part of it and my blood started to boil so bad that I had to put my phone down, because it's a triggering thing. It's very much, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. I really think that's why people put that on social media, to get a reaction, and they want
Correct.
more people to fall in line with them. And
Correct.
not enough people look at it and then say absolutely not and put it down.
Right.
Like they look at
100%
it and
right.
then they have your response look at it and say, oh my gosh, are you kidding? And then, like, this is not true. What they do is they look at it and they go, oh yeah, that's absolutely accurate.
Yeah.
And then it's like a cancer. It just, and there's no cure for it, because if you don't want to be, nobody can make you choose happiness. You have to choose it for yourself.
Correct.
But when you proactively choose the opposite,
Right.
I will never understand that. I will never. And that's with anything. With anything.
Right.
I don't understand
100%.
misery.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Okay, my rant's kind of done,
No,
possibly.
no, 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 no,
We'll
no, no,
we'll
no.
we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes for the rest of the time. I might hop into some more rants.
No, you're good. And this is something that okay, it's going to go off an account. I'm not going to read who this person is. I'm not going to give
Mm-mm,
any hints or details for you guys to find this
mm-mm.
person out because this person deserves their space, deserves to do what they want to do. But my frustration is the blanket statements. And we try really hard
That
not to preface blanket statements with us because we know our stories are happier stories, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't share our stories because ours are happier and people don't have as happy adoption stories. I mean, if you
mhm,
listen to the episode with Greg, that's what we talked about. Like why,
mhm,
yeah, we know we have to be, but that's the thing. I'm so sick of everybody having to be so careful these days with anything that they
right.
say to not hurt other people's feelings. I almost just let an F bop drop because it bugs me so bad that nobody can disagree with you. Nobody can
Right.
disagree with you, and you have to fight, 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 fight. Like, why? Why can't people have different opinions? And like I'm saying,
Well,
this girl, we get the
it
different
doesn't make
opinion. I just
sense.
don't like, I don't like them
I don't like them trying to
blanket
put
st-
words in our mouths.
Correct. That's where I'm
That
at.
part.
Because
That
a
part.
lot of the stuff that's posted is adoptees or adoption. And it's like, no,
Mhm.
back the up. It is not everybody that is this way.
I
I'm
agree.
so sorry for your situation. I'm so sorry for everything that's happened to you. But no,
But your
shut your
pain
damn mouth.
isn't, yeah, your
Yes.
pain is not everybody's story. Yes,
Right.
you have your story and you have every right to share your story. Everybody has a right to share their story. I feel like it's really important for people to share their story. However, your story does not speak for us. It does not speak for every adoptee, and it's not fair. Just like we don't try to say our stories speak for every adoptee out there. We don't try to do that. We don't try to say that. We've had people come at us and say, you know, not everybody is like y'all. We know that. We
Right.
know that. God broke the
Right.
mold when he made us. Like
Right.
he broke the mold when he made y'all. Like it's not everyone's journey is the same, but when you share your journey, you need to do it with fact.
Correct.
Share your emotion behind it, absolutely, but
Yeah.
it needs to be factual because that it's not. I'm just gonna go ahead.
But
Stop.
no, but I mean, as you guys know too, like we hold a place for those people that are hurting. We will never
Mhm.
tell them you can't feel this way because it's just like them trying to tell us that we have to feel a certain way. We would never do that to them. The reason why we're bringing up these hard conversations is to let you guys know there is still a lot of good that comes with adoption. And
Mhm.
there are these people in the world, and it's like, it just, I'm going to get into some of these
Well,
because it's just crazy.
there's a lot of good. While you pull that up, there's a lot of good that comes out of the bad stories too. Look at
Correct.
Corey's story. Look at
Yes.
Corey's story. Perfect example. If y'all missed that episode about Corey's story, go back and listen. And if you listen to it and you didn't like catch all of it, listen to it again.
Yeah.
That Corey, if anyone has a
Yeah.
right to be
Yeah.
furious with the world, it
Yeah.
is Corey. And bless that man. He is amazing.
Oh, this person
There,
just has now like blocked all their comments. She's probably getting some hate from people. Oh, I said it's a
she
she.
turned off her comments.
On her post because I
Okay,
was trying to peek.
you know what? I'm gonna mess with you here for like a second. I have to practice messing it with you. How do you know she's a she? Does she have her pronouns in the bio?
Oh, that's true.
She could be a they, I think is another one.
I don't
Or a
know.
he,
Yeah, she doesn't
him,
have
or a
anything.
they, them.
No, she doesn't have anything.
That's
She don't have.
and you know, I'm just messing with you on that because like it is very hard nowadays not to, you know, get jumped about everything. So
It's true. I was trying to
I
look.
just wanted to prepare you for anybody that wants to go because I find that interesting that comments were blocked. I've always found that anytime the comments are turned off, it's because they're getting their booties handed to them.
And of course, they only keep the ones that.
Oh, of course, only the ones that make them look good
Okay,
and that agree with them.
we're gonna jump right into this. I'm just gonna start reading some things, and then me and you can kind of talk about it. Like I said, I'm not gonna give who this person is. It might even be a dude. Now that she said that, who the hell knows? So,
It could be. It
this
really
one,
could be.
this one right here. Okay, from what I can kind of see from this person's profile, first off, it does look like they're an international adoptee. And I know when you come from other countries, it can be a lot worse. It can be a lot
Mhm, mhm.
nastier when it
Yeah.
comes to the adoption process. So I'm not taking that away.
Yeah.
I want you to hear that at first. And this person's story does need to be shared, but it does need to be shared. This is just me, very tactful, but I also know there's a lot of maturity and growth that people have to go through in
Mhm,
order to honor both sides. And
mhm.
I own up to that this shit frustrates the living hell out of me, but I
Right.
understand she has a really shitty story. Does that make sense? Or she?
No, it's one of those things that where this individual, whoever he, she, they, them, they, whatever. You know me, I always got to throw a little bit of comedic relief in there. It's kind of like if you have an awful story and you're still working through it, fine, I accept that. I can accept that. That doesn't mean that I'm going to change my opinion about the things that you say. Does that make sense? Like
Nope.
I can accept your hurt. I can accept your pain if you are proactively working through it.
Yeah.
To come to a healthy solution. But if you're proactively working through it to spew hatred,
Yeah.
I have nothing for that. Like, I
Right.
don't understand it. I don't get it.
Well, and another thing, like this is where we can go back to like real life people. Like when we
Mhm.
interviewed Raquel and she said, if I hadn't have found God, like I would, and
Mhm.
guys, she is
Right.
somebody who's been through shit. She
Through
still
it.
continues to go through a lot of hard stuff. Just the way that, her lifestyle and stuff that they've chose to live. And she honors that. She knows that. She's not looking for
Mhm.
handouts, but she's like, make the best of it that you can. So,
But that's a difference though, is she has that attitude about it where she
right.
does make the best of it. And like you said, she found God. There's a lot of people that I know, including myself,
Yeah.
that could have found reasons to be. I mean, well,
Oh,
no, my parents would, if they listen to this, and my sisters would be like, "Are you kidding? You had a charmed life." I did have a charmed life. However, I dealt with a lot of mental health issues with over the
y-
last 15 years,
yeah.
with
Yeah.
depression and stuff. And I could have been pointed the fingers at the world and blamed all them. And I probably did at some point. But, everybody has to realize that the world doesn't make the choice for you to be pissy. You're making that choice.
Yeah.
It's easy. You can
Yeah.
choose joy. Some days are harder than others, but, still a choice.
Agreed.
Just saying, go
Agreed.
ahead.
Agreed. Okay. This one right here. This says, when you say I want to adopt, I want a kid to fill my need to feel like a good person. So if somebody comes up and says, I would love to adopt,
Sometimes I
you
forget
just
we're on a
you just want to look
podcast.
like a savior. Yeah, I have to keep my mouth clean because there would be a lot of F-bombs dropping at this
There
point.
was, well, I just realized that nobody can see my face that I just made where I had to pause and I had to think about it for a second. Cause are you kidding? Are you kidding? Like that's what they hear when somebody says, I want to adopt, they hear I want to feel good about myself.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, because then the post also is like, um, adoption prioritizes what the adopter wants over what's best for children.
Are we they're being serious right now?
Mhm. If you really care about what's best for children, then invest your resources and energy in supporting and advocating for family preservation.
Okay, cool. So, cool. Okay. All right. So I'm not opposed to family preservation. I'm not
Agreed.
opposed to that. I'm not
Agreed.
opposed to family reunification. I think that is amazing when the family wants to proactively do that. If they're not making the right decisions and the right choices, I'm not saying this is everybody. I'm just saying a general statement. If the biological mom and dad are drug addicts and they're not working an NA program with a sponsor to get clean and get better and get jobs and better themselves and put themselves in a better situation for their children, absolutely not. That is
Right.
not a family that should be preserved. It's they obviously need to go fix themselves, and then that, and however long time period that takes, because they're obviously not thinking about the kid, and the child needs to be placed in a family or with a family or whomever. It could be a single person. It
Yeah.
could be a single person. I'm not saying it has to be like a family, but
The
it's
thing
not
that
it's not always guaranteed that that's the right situation. But the
correct.
other one's not guaranteed either. It's whatever.
Correct. This looking at this makes this honestly, like this account honestly just makes me really sad for her. Like really beyond
There's
belief
so
sad
much
for her
there's a lot of pain
because
there.
there's
There's a
there's
lot.
tons of pain. Like, going this at first when I first sent that post to Delancey, it was more like, what the actual F? Like, why are we saying this?
Mhm.
But then as you go through all of them, and this is where I'm gonna say right now with social media in general, not just with hers, you have to be in a sound place where you can look at
Mhm.
this shit and realize, okay, this
Mhm.
person's hurting because you could lash out and be like, what the actual F? There's still a lot of that. But the thing is like back before I started to get trapped into the I started to feel like I needed to feel this way because I was surrounded by too many people that were acting like this. And luckily I
Mhm.
stumbled upon Delancey. And not luckily, God knew I needed her in my life. Like,
God
you
knew,
know,
hey girl, whatever. God knew I needed you. Don't even go there. God brought you to me because I needed you.
but you know what I mean? Like Delancey and then like even Corey and then all the other contacts that I've made through
Yeah.
this, it's like we're not saying that adoption doesn't come with complexities. It doesn't come with trauma because there are people that suffer so damn bad because unfortunately they get to places, you know, with families that, and I'm sorry, but everybody's human. Who has never not done
Yeah.
a damn bad thing in their life? Not bad, but like made a mistake, lied to somebody, done something wrong. Who, if you can raise your hand and said, I never have, you can just
You're lying. No, you're
exactly.
lying.
Yeah,
You are
exactly.
lying. You're not
Exactly.
telling the truth. And it's
No,
not, and the thing is, at the end of the day, mistakes are mistakes. And we
correct.
don't measure mistakes because you know who doesn't measure mistakes? God certainly doesn't measure mistakes. So that doesn't give humans the right to measure mistakes, even though everyone
Right.
does it all the time. You should
Right.
not do that. Period.
No.
And if you try to tell us that you've never made a mistake in your entire life, you are lying to yourself flat
Yeah.
out. Ooh, that
100%.
was a lot. I said that with my chest. Ooh, that was a lot.
No,
I
I love it. I
apologize,
love it.
kind of.
Um, so I'll read some more, but what I'm going off of this right now, this person's really hurting.
This is a
And
lot.
this is what makes me sad is they may have not, and I know this is the case where some kids do, they get in and it comes same with foster. You get put in homes, you get, you know, in adoption for parents that for some reason unfortunately are not mentally sound, mentally stable, and so a lot of shit happens. And so then, you know, or there's the people that just grow up and they feel like that's kind of, I feel like the way of the world right now. Lots of people growing up feel like they're entitled to shit because the the world
Hold
has
on.
changed so damn much in the 30 years that I have, you know what I mean? 34 years that I've been here. It's so different from when I was a kid to now. Like, are you
It's
on her page?
yeah, I am. You can
Yeah.
see me like kind of I you know it's my like I can't see myself when I'm making like I'm looking at my phone and making the faces. My Botox holding up right here because I feel like it is. I hope it is because like I don't like there is and I don't there's a lot of pain here. There's a lot of
Uh,
pain and she doesn't know how to work through it is what the
yeah.
problem is. There's a lot of
Yeah.
pain and there's a lot of pain and she's it's her content is
Okay. This is what
a lot.
I'm gonna read to you guys. This is what I sent Delancey. And honestly, this really broke my heart. And I'm not saying that it probably doesn't happen in some cases. That's not what I'm saying. Her situation may 100% be this, but to say that all of adoption. So this right here says adoption is not relinquishment. Adoption is child trafficking. I sent this to Delancey with what the actual F.
And I told her I'm pretty sure my exact response was, I can't even read this right now
Yeah.
because I was in the middle of like a quote unquote work thing with baseball. And, um, yeah, I'm a very competitive person anyway. So emotions are running high watching the game and then reading that, it would have been like, my blood was already boiling when I read that first sentence. And then I realized there were more pictures to go through. And I immediately had to put my phone down because I knew if I went through them, it was not going to be. And it's not so much like, okay, let me correct this. I don't want to say my blood was boiling because like I wasn't angry at the person that posted it. I was more so angry that this person was allowing their situation to run their life and their views and anything they've been through to completely tarnish any form of positivity that they could find. Because it's very clear, especially now that I'm going through, I'm glad you mentioned you're going through her stuff because I'm going through it right now too. And it's very clear that she does not have a single I keep saying she too, but whatever. Positive outlook on anything. like nothing. I have found zero form of hope, positivity, light, happiness. There's a lot of hurt and misery and pain here.
Like this
And
one, it
that,
says adoption is forced removal and separation of child and mother. And again, I'm not taking away that it doesn't happen in some places, because it does. Unfortunately, it does. And it's disgusting and it's sucky and it's nasty. But for me, I've come across so many people, me, Delancey, Greg, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we have now met our birth moms.
yeah.
We now know that they honest, true to God, did it from a place of love. It was
Mhm.
not to quote unquote sell us to get some money out of it, because most birth mamas I even know,
They don't do that.
heart wrenching. A
Yeah,
piece of their heart
that's,
was ripped out of their chest when these babies were placed for adoption.
yeah. It's very rare you hear of a birth mom that doesn't think about their child they place for adoption
Every
daily,
single day. Mhm.
every single day.
Yeah.
And I, I mean, I just don't, it's not to, to say that, to say, I'm trying to think of a way to say this without it like coming out, like saying it with my chest again, because that was a lot. I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I'm just gonna say it, and I just need to make sure it probably won't sound okay, because sometimes my brain just works faster than my mouth does, which is shocking. Um, I I feel like saying that adoption is child trafficking is minimalizing actual child trafficking. Like you're taking, like you are. It, it's just not, it's just not, there's no other way for me to say that, but it's not, because to compare adoption, which again, not all adoption stories, I mean, I don't know how many different times I can say it, so just I'm going to go ahead and just say a blanket statement for the rest of the episodes, and I'll probably just keep repeating myself. Yes, there are hardships, yes there's trials, yes there's bad stuff, and it's all there. But to say that adoption is the same level as a small child being kidnapped from their home and taken across a border and sold to the highest bidder, no, it's just not. It's just not. I've encountered way too many birth moms and way too many adoptees, especially now that, I've joined with you, and especially since I've started sharing my story more and more often. I've
Right.
met more and more adoptees and birth mothers and birth fathers that it all came from a place of love. They didn't take the child and hand it off to,
100%. Yeah.
some random Joe Blow and say,
Right.
give me $500. And they took them off and dropped them off over in California or Mexico or Canada or something. That's not how that's not how this works. So it bothers me that she made such and this is not a cuss word, everybody, so don't come for me, but she made such an asinine comparison.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion. She has
No,
a right to feel how she does, but I also have a right to feel the way that I do about her comparison, because I don't like
correct.
that.
No, and that's where it frustrates me, is the blanket statement, because technically, like I'm an international adoptee. 100% I'm an international adoptee, okay? And for her to say that I was sold and child trafficked to my parents, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying it doesn't happen in other places, because I damn well know it does. I'm not
Right.
saying that it doesn't.
Right.
But I know in talking to my birth mom, it was the hardest thing she's ever had to do. And
Right.
she hasn't gone a day, just like you said, of her whole entire life not thinking about me, not
I think about you every day.
wanting, to be the person that she could have been to raise me, to take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
And she has told me to my face she's forever grateful for my parents for everything that they have done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah. No, I agree.
She wasn't
and
like, ooh, they're going to these white Americans who are going to start now shoveling me $30,000 a month. No, it doesn't work that way.
I thought you were going to say white saviors.
Well, there's that too. People call them white
But
saviors.
I mean,
And I'm
like,
just,
I mean, that was the direction I was a little disappointed that you didn't go there, but well, it's fine. It's
well,
fine.
that's how everything is on her account. If you look at
It
it,
is.
everything
It
is
is.
that way.
I looked at that. I've noticed that there's a lot of that's just what I'm saying. Her content's a little all over the place, which is fine. Your content is your content. It's your page. You express yourself however you want, whatever.
Right.
However,
Right.
how is it that you hate so many things and there's no room for joy in your life when you have so much hatred for so many things? When you are sharing so much negativity about, I mean, just a couple topics I came across: adoption, capitalism, God, what else was it? Any
Racism is on
laws,
there so much. Yeah. Racism is
racism
very
is on
prevalent.
here a
A
lot.
lot.
So there's a lot of capitalism on here. There's get your laws off my body. Then there's also how apparently her story is used to serve the egos and agendas of oppressors and colonizers. Colonizers. Really? You weren't here first either, ma'am. You were not. I'm sorry. God, I said that
Oh
with my
my hell,
chest
have you
too.
seen Yellowstone? Have you seen Yellowstone? This reminds me of Yellowstone, the whole battle that they're going through right now. Because
Girl, I love Yellowstone because I will tell you what, if I had their money, I would be Beth Dutton all day long because
I love
she gets away with everything because normal
I love
people can't act like that.
no,
No,
no. Rip's my
I
favorite. Oh my hell, I love him.
oh,
I'm
I
like,
love him too,
oh
dude. I'm telling you,
like
that's the
and
I
even Kevin Costner at his age, man. Damn. Like,
dude still
damn.
looks good. But
Oh,
you know what? And Casey's a real one, even though his wife kind of
oh.
sucks. Like she's annoying. She's completely annoying. Casey's amazing, but you know who can trip on a curb? Jamie.
Oh, agreed.
But you know who I'm here for too? Tater. No,
Oh,
Teeter
yes.
Tater. Ah, love
Yeah.
her too. Love her too. But like that's a perfect example of, if you think about it, that is a perfect example of somebody who lets their story and the fact that, let's tie it back to our previous episode of when should you tell your child that they're adopted. Jamie was adopted. They never told him. Jamie found out. Jamie was already messed up and
I'm
not a
not
nice
that
person
hard.
at
I am
all.
not that far in Yellowstone. Holy shit. I should have told you to.
You heard it here, folks. I just ruined Yellowstone for her. Actually, I didn't. That's just a small little piece. How far are you? You have
I
to
am
stop me.
barely into the third season. So anything
Girl,
after
come
that,
back and talk to me later.
I don't care. I love spoilers. My husband hates it because I'm like, what happens?
Okay, well,
I'm gonna Wikipedia it.
spoiler. You want to know why Jamie is such a
That
non-nice
kind of
person and insert many
that
non-nice words here? He's adopted.
that makes sense. That makes sense of like
He's
now I can
adopted,
kind of see it.
and you will start to see
Well,
even more later
Beth,
why
I
he
think it was Beth.
sucks.
Beth
Yes.
called him a mutt, and that's where I was like, "Oh, what does that mean? What does that mean? What happened? What does that mean?" So they
Girl,
haven't said it yet.
just
So
wait,
okay,
just wait,
okay,
because
okay,
there's a whole lot
okay.
of, after you catch up all the way, because the new season starts in November. And sorry guys, y'all just gotta bear with us for this one. When the new season catches up in November, here's the thing. This is what we should do. We should actually do an episode where we talk about how shows relate to adoption, because
That's a way good idea.
there are several shows and how they portray it. This Is Us, Yellowstone. Um,
I can't do
I'm
This
trying
Is
to
Us
think.
anymore. I know everybody's so sad it's over,
I
but I can't watch it. I can't do it.
Randall got on my nerves anyway because he was just no, absolutely
Yeah.
not. Randall was annoying to me, like just the like his character, and like I was enjoying following his journey, but and everything,
Right.
but there were just certain things that. But then again, Kate got on my nerves too,
Agreed.
and so did Kevin. All three of them got on my last nerve,
I
and
agree.
I think it's maybe because like I recognize some of myself and like my old self in
That
them.
makes sense. That
But
makes sense. That
we
makes
need
sense.
to we need to figure that out, because that would be,
Yeah.
once you get caught up with Yellowstone, we'll be able to do that.
Okay.
And I think
Okay.
that'd be great content. Okay, go back to what we're
I'm
talking about.
down.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry
no,
for
no,
the
no.
rant, everybody.
No, I'm down. No, but like for me, what it goes back to when I was talking about how like with Yellowstone, I just feel like it's this day and age that everybody, and I'm not saying that the Duttons are not innocent in what they're doing, but like that everybody feels like they are entitled to something. And I don't understand that. Like
We had nothing to do with what happened back then.
it's the
Nothing to do
entitlement
with
thing.
anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had nothing to do with any of that.
But
That has nothing to do with anybody. And especially if you're talking to somebody who actually does come from immigrants,
right.
but because they're white, they're immediately colonizers.
Yeah.
That's the part I
Exactly.
don't, that's the part I don't get. I don't get that. I do not get that, like, at
Exactly.
all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No, it I can't keep looking at her thing because it'll just take me into a really dark zone. I'm done. Like some of the stuff, but it's just sad. Like as you can see some of the lingo on there. The reason we want to do this, guys, is to show you that adoption can be a beautiful
oh,
thing.
can she
And
learn to spell though?
that is
I'm
one
just
thing. If you're going to
saying,
be coming at people or
if
coming
you
and doing things, learn how to spell.
learn to
Have correct
spell and
grammar
learn,
because I've
thank
done things
you.
wrong before. Like it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy when I do it
I've
myself.
done
And
it
I'm like, oh
too.
shit, I can't go back and fix that because I get it.
I just, okay, I'm just reading through this last one, and it's like, it's okay. So this is how you know. I'm gonna close this out now because this really is like getting on my last nerve. Because I don't get it. This is how you know a woman is not does not have any joy in her life. When she cannot even talk about getting a haircut without complaining and
Oh,
going off about something. I was scrolling through, just like,
was
skimming, like, whatever. And it was literally, you know what, let me follow back up
was
again. Let's see if
that was that one of them that was
there was one of them was
interesting?
about a haircut. And I feel like now I need to go back and um where is it? Um why is this haircut such a statement for me? What's the big deal? When I was growing up, I received a lot of negative feedback about my appearance, especially once I entered adolescence, i.e. puberty and young adulthood. She really did that wrong with the parentheses and all this other, it's not, whatever. As a transracial, transnational Asian adoptee forced to live immersed in unsafe spaces dominated by white, spelled with a Y, culture, coupled with the expectations and stereotypes forced upon me as an Asian woman, demands to be hyperfeminine became all the more persistent as I matured. There was no punctuation. Increasingly, I was told that I was not feminine enough, not only in my appearance, but also in the way I moved. I was made to walk with books on my head because I was told that I walked too much like a boy. Concerns were expressed by third parties to my counselor that I wasn't grooming myself in the way a lady should, i.e., she doesn't pluck her eyebrows and she dresses like a boy. Eventually, I got sucked into whatever. We're not even going to continue going there. The more I express my authentic self, yada yada. Well, this is not the first time I've had short hair. This is the first time I did it for me. I mean, yay for your
Girlfriend's
short
got
hair,
a
but
whole lot
like,
of loving to do on
that's
herself.
a
That's like the only
that
thing I pick out of that is, girl, you need to work on loving. Work on yourself. Don't project onto other people you're hurt. You need to, and it's so common, not just with her, with people. They project,
mm-hmm,
they do shit because they don't like
mm-hmm.
who they are. Because they,
That
you know, and I'm
was,
not
yeah.
saying that like people aren't, especially here in Utah, man, with the church, people are assholes. They like to look like they're better than thou and holier than thou.
Oh,
And
you think that
I,
doesn't happen in the South? Are you
yeah,
kidding?
right. No.
Like,
Okay.
all
Thank you.
the time.
Thank you for
All
that.
the
But
time.
like, and I hate it because they go to church and they're like the most judgmental fools, but they're like, oh, we're
Right.
here every Sunday. So like, look at us. We're like, no, no, no. My favorite is all the looks I get because technically you're not supposed to have more than one piercing in our religion. And I have 7 in my ears. And quite frankly, I don't give a flying F. I don't. I don't. Like I just don't. But my
See,
favorite
I
is when I
think
wear my hair up to church and people are like, you'll see them look in my eyes and then their eyes like do that number to my
they
ear.
do the dart over. See, this is why I love my church. And let me tell you, I'm so glad that I finally found the church that I'm in, and I'm so comfortable and I'm incredibly plugged in and do everything like that, because even though, there's always going to be a couple of people that like clutch their pearls. That's what we say in the South. Oh my God, clutch your pearls. Like, oh,
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
you believe that? Oh my God, bless her heart. We're just going to pray for her. I mean, in the South, it's a whole different dynamic. Let's just be honest.
Right.
However, I'm very thankful that I'm in the church that I'm in, because at the end of the day, we're just glad you're there.
See,
Everyone's just glad you're there. It doesn't
and
matter what you have on, the way you look, we're just glad you're here.
that's what I really like about where I live. And because we have different, groups of like they're called wards that go to the church. And
Mhm.
so it's like certain areas of the neighborhood. That's what I love about my neighborhood that I'm in. There's a few that are like that, but for the most part, and
But for the
honestly,
majority, yeah.
I don't want to move to ritzier and glitzier. I don't want to move to a bigger
Uh-uh.
home because then I know I'm going to be
Mhm.
dealing with those bitches. And I know that's really mean to say,
Mhm.
but I'm over it and I love it. And I know that's a dumb reason not to move, because my therapist actually told me this. She's like, what if you're meant to move to be an influence on the other women, to show them that it doesn't matter what you do, like it's in your heart that's good. I'm like, oh, I never thought of it that way. Like,
But I'm gonna be the other side of that. Make sure that you feel strong enough, because
exactly.
that's what it comes down
Exactly.
to. Because
Yes.
sometimes you can get sucked into what, even though you're doing better and you're feeling good. It's
Tying
like,
it all back in.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. You know, don't disrupt your peace because you're accustomed to chaos. And
Oh,
sometimes you can be an influence, but you have to have those like strong boundaries
she
and not let
just
them break
tied it
it.
back in though. No, she really, Delancey just tied it back into everything that we're talking about. If you can't handle those type of accounts, unfollow them, block them, don't look at them, because you keep reading shit like that.
Yep.
It's exactly what she said. It is going to suck you in a vortex and then you're
Mhm.
going to be swirling in it like, oh shit, I need to be this way.
And you can't get out.
I admit I was one of those that started to. I was like, I need to be ungrateful. I need to have trauma. I need to do this. And then I'm like, why?
I was about to
Why
say
can't I be
why.
grateful? Like, why can't I be grateful that like I am adopted into a beautiful family? You know what I mean? Like I got out of it because it's like, why?
Right.
And
Right.
I may have some trauma. I don't say it's, I'm not going to say it's from adoption. Like, you know what I mean? There's things you got to
Right.
figure out with yourself, but I'm not going to be like,
Right.
oh, it's all adoption. It's adoption why I have trauma. I get there's situations where it is very traumatic with adoption, with foster care,
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
yes, it does come from that. Corey's one of those, but
Absolutely.
I'm always going to use Corey as an example. And I know everybody's not
He
wired
worked
like
through
him,
it.
but he is a great
Right.
person to learn to strive to be
Yes.
like. You know what I mean?
I'll
Like
agree with that. I will agree
plain
with
and
that,
simple.
because at the end of the day, it's like you said. I think we all have trauma. My trauma, though, because I had someone ask me, like, do you think your depression and your trauma, do you think that came from being adopted? No, that came from the poor choices I made. Are you kidding? I made those choices. Like, I made some really crap choices, really crap decisions, and the consequences of that was self-inflicted. Thank God that it didn't like truly. I mean, yeah, of course it affected my family because it disappointed them. However,
Right.
it has nothing to do with me being adopted. And I really feel like there's a lot of people out there that, you know, like this person, for example, and I'm touching my phone, you can't see it, but like this person, for example, um, I feel like they have a lot of anger, hate, trauma, maybe some like mental health things going on. Not saying that she's
Right.
crazy, because mental health,
No.
people finally understand that mental health means anxiety, depression, negative thoughts, negative self-talk, because I suffer from negative self-talk. Thank God, not as bad as I used to. However, it's almost like all of that is happening, but a lot of that has to deal with your choices that you make, whether it's the music you listen to, the information you consume. Our pastor talked about it this past Sunday, talking about how his wife started to feel like really anxious, and they sat down and they started going through everything. And it was because when during her downtime, she was scrolling through news headlines and she was taking in all the news headlines, and it was created
God.
unnecessary anxiety for her, because
Right.
that's all the media does, is create fear. That's all these influencers that have so much anger in them, they're just creating fear, and they're just perpetuating more anger because they
Well,
refuse to confront their own issues.
And I'll say that too with not just like the influencers with the hate, but it's even the influencers in general, like the big ones
Yeah,
that are like
I
have
agree.
ad after ad after ad that it's like, oh my gosh, my favorite shoes are on sale. You click on the mother effing link and it's $500 pair of shoes. So now all these women that are like, oh my gosh, I have to have it. I have to do it.
Hmm.
Like if you
They're
have
going
not
into
seen
debt.
the Lululemon documentary, oh my goodness, that's something you need to go watch because that
I
is
will.
100% like, ooh, like that's
I'll
crazy.
flat out say it. My family's gonna kill me, but I don't do Lululemon. I just don't. I understand quality. I understand this that, and the other. But I've never watched the documentary. Now I need to add that to my list of things I need to go watch. But
It's on Hulu. You should go watch it. It's on Hulu.
I just can't do it. I can't do these expensive shoes. I can't do. We were talking about that at lunch today. One of the girls that I am actually really close with, she was laughing at, she was naming designers, and I was just sitting there and I was like, I have no idea who these people are. Like, I have no idea. Like, I looked at this other woman and she looked at me and I was like, I have no idea what she's talking about. Like, I recognize Chanel,
Right.
because who doesn't recognize Chanel? Who
Right.
doesn't recognize, like, I know Kate Spade, but I didn't know
Right.
Kate Spade with purses. I knew Kate Spade with phone cases because I used to, work in the cell phone world.
Yeah.
I don't understand all of the designer thing, and like you said, the influencers, and they're all like, you have to do this, you have to do that, and you, like you said, you click on the link and $500, $100, heck, $50 for a top. You've lost your mind. I cannot, like, this dress I have on that I wore to work, it's $25. I bought it from a resale site. My mom laughs at me all the time because I'm so proud of my thrifting, because I don't see the point. It doesn't, I don't get the high of spending money like that. And I don't get the high of shelling out that you, like influencers do, shelling out that they spend it. And I don't get the high of shelling out their negative opinions to make other people follow them. Because I feel like that gives them a high to do that.
Correct. 100%. 100%. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, I totally agree. I think like the biggest message from today is just like, be careful what you read. They're honestly, for me, it's Satan at his finest trying to come out and just be. I swear there was something. I don't know if you saw on her page. Maybe it was a different page that I saw that like they were talking about Christian white people being trying to be pretty much a white savior is what it is. And it just made me so disgusted because it's like, what?
I'm so tired of that too. Like, it really bugs me when people say that about, it's like you can't, for people that, and this is just something I've noticed, and I'm not trying to make a blanket statement here. I'm just saying that the individuals that are screaming for acceptance are the most exclusive people I've ever seen, that will also not accept someone different than them. I don't understand that. If you want to be accepted, you have to accept others.
Yeah.
You can't do this whole thing where, kind of like the negative adoption thing. My adoption story was awful, so every adoption story is awful. And if it's not awful, you just don't realize that it was awful, and you'll learn one day that it was awful. One day you'll take my hand and you'll join the negative train. Like, I don't get that. I don't understand that. It's literally like, what is that movie? The Princess and the Frog, where it's oh God, I cannot remember this. Why can't I remember this? My brain's been
Wait,
gone all
what?
day
Sorry.
today.
If you guys are watching, you saw
No,
kids coming back. What are you talking about? Like the Princess and the Frog, though? What are you
it's
referring
like
to?
the Princess and the Frog, the bad guy. As I say, he wants something else. Hello, hi friends. Oh no,
He
he's
just
gone.
came in
Okay.
to say, I love you. That's all he did. Like, I love you, and then
Melts
walked
my
away.
heart.
But their
Melts
dinner's
my
done. I'm like,
heart.
just turn the oven off so it can cool off. But don't, what are you talking about? Like a
It's
Princess and the
okay.
Frog?
So it's almost like Princess and the Frog, the bad guy. I cannot remember his name, but he's like,
Dr. Fossier.
take my hand, and I will lead you to. That's essentially what I feel like
Go
all these
ahead
people that
and
are
take my
doing.
hand. That guy's voice, man.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah. Ugh.
so awesome. So dope.
But I feel like that's what these people are, who are like, I'm different. I need to be accepted. check off all these boxes under everything. And this is the reason why you have to accept me. So you have to take my hand and accept me, but I'm not going to accept you because you're the problem.
Right. Yes. Okay. While we were doing this, I sent a couple of these posts to birth mamas who I know.
Oh
and
God,
they
give me the
responded.
reaction.
They responded. Okay.
Go.
Okay.
Go. I want to hear it. I'm so excited.
They said, I've heard from birth moms who say that they were forced to relinquish rights due to citizenship. There is obvious more pain for birth moms and adoptees. Those are the ones who feel like they're missing so much, but it varies, as is how they hurt, how they feel. As you know, because she knows that I'm adoptee, I feel like this is on the extreme side and doesn't take into account how often adoption can save lives. It's never black and white. Amen. Okay, the next one.
Go ahead.
Hang on. This one, she just more is like, how does it erase lives? Is what I want to know. It most definitely saves them. And do they know child trafficking normally has money involved? Yeah, like
I'm with her. How does it erase lives? I saw
that
that one too, and I was like, that doesn't even make sense. But okay,
no.
pop off. Like it
Yeah.
just. God, they're just some things. I swear. They're just. I'm glad you sent those to them because I was.
Well, because I just wanted to know that, like, I'm not crazy for thinking it really makes me just super uncomfortable. And again, I'm going to go back to this. It's not taking away for that she's hurting. I'm not saying that.
Right.
She has every right to hurt. She has every right to be upset. But like when you project it on other people, I can't stand that. I think because I've had it happen too much in my life with other people, they get hurt. They're having a shitty life. And so they attack you thinking that you need to be the one to build them up, to bring them back, to feel this pain with them. And it's like, no, I don't have to feel this pain with you. I am my own person. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all of that, because even if they don't realize they're doing it when they're trying to make you feel a certain way. And it could be something as simple. And this is why this ties back into our other episode about verbiage. Even a simple statement of, have you met your real parents?
Yes. Yes.
And like, and I understand that there are several, not several, there are a lot of people out there that do not realize that verbiage is really important, and that saying it like that is
right.
Kind of cringy. But when you use that, instead of doing what I imagine this individual would have done, which is pop off and go off on them, that's a moment to educate. So the way you can spread, even if you've had a traumatic story or you have trauma or you have a bad story, or whatever, the best way you can utilize your story is to educate. And education does not involve, I'm trying to think of a way to say this without, because I almost said the wrong word just then.
Being an asshole.
Well, that you could say that too. I was going to say the rhyming version of condescending, but it almost came out. I don't even know how it was going to come out. Like I literally, my brain paused when I went to say it, and I had two different versions of the word. Yeah, you're thinking about it too, right? Right. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I'm sorry, guys. I swear I'm not dumb. I promise. I just did not have like. I almost said condensation, but I don't think that's not the right word. I feel like that's the thing.
Like
that
when
goes
your
on bottles,
your drink starts
gets
to
all
sweat.
sweaty. That's the reason. Like I stopped and I was like, it works. It works, but that is not the right word, Delancey. Do not say that word, because people would be like, she does not know what she's talking about.
As we're sitting here saying about that, the other person. No, and this is what I want you guys to see. Like there's just good. Like there's a lot of good that comes with adoption. And there are those few thorns that just want to stick out and stick you in the butt to make you think that it's not that way, to scare you, to make you think you're going to adopt a child and you are going to F up their life. You are going to be a horrible parent because you're not blood related. Or you're going to do this. You're going to do this. Yeah. Like, oh, one thing I was going to comment on too, that you said, yes, now I have a fuzzy heart in my hand because I do that. But like, how you were saying how people say, where are your real parents? When I make reels like that, I know when I make them, they're kind of like, ew, like I'm so annoyed with it. But I don't think I've ever come across, I honestly could say maybe just a few handful of people who've
Mhm.
actually meant it snarky. But for the
Yeah,
most people,
same.
like you're saying, it
For the most,
honestly
they don't
is like
know.
they don't know. And so
They
it's
don't
like you said,
know.
you can take the opportunity to be like one
Mhm.
person and be like, oh, bitch, you better. Like, and I did make a
It's
reel
like,
like
oh,
that.
you
I
better
did make
take
a reel like
like,
that. But
yeah.
in all honesty, you just sit down and you just say, you know what? It's actually my real parents are the ones that raised me. And I'm forever
Mhm.
grateful for my birth mom,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
nobody takes any ick to it because you're just, you don't have
Because
to
you're
be
being
like, that's not
honest.
how you say it. You just be like,
Exactly.
actually, these guys are my real parents and this is my
Exactly.
birth mom. And, this, you
Exactly.
just have to talk to people
It
like that.
and it's one of those things where it comes down to it. If you are in any okay, let's not even just like seclude it to this. Let's not even seclude it to just the adoption community. If you any community that you're a part of, it is your responsibility to educate others about your community. And you
Amen.
cannot educate others if you
Amen.
are, I apologize to all my
An
nieces and nephews, if
asshole.
you come across like an asshole, you just can't.
I'll sing
Like
it to the heavens.
I'm like,
Feel
I just feel like that word is like really, really necessary right now. And I was actually having a conversation earlier about cussing and how I was trying to get better about it. And I've gotten better, but that I feel like that word is super necessary right now because nobody's going to listen to you. They're going to think you're rude. They're going to think you're an awful person. And then they're going to look at that community as awful people because you
Yep.
are misrepresenting your community
Yep.
because you feel some type of way about something. You can feel some type of way all day long, but if
Yep.
you don't present yourself in a positively influential manner, that's on you. And then you're making the rest of everybody else look bad because you decided
Exactly.
that popping off was more important than providing an education. Because when you educate, then more people are gonna be like, oh, I didn't know that. And then they'll share
Yes.
the information. And then word of mouth happens. And then there's more respect in the world. Why isn't there respect in the world? Because people pop off instead of educating. Okay, I'm done.
No, it's true. And you guys, like, we can always take this back to just daily, just it
Yeah.
honestly, all of this stuff comes back to just being an effing human. It doesn't make you, if you're like different, adopted or not, like everybody goes through shit. Everybody has trauma.
All the
Everybody goes
time.
through things. Everybody
All the
can be an
time.
asshole. Like,
Yep.
it's not just because we're adopted that it happens this way. It drives me crazy. Like,
Thank you.
I
Thank
don't know.
you. Because
I don't know.
it can happen to anybody. You just having
Yeah.
empathy and thinking about somebody other than yourself.
Right. Agreed.
Like, yes, of course, think about yourself, protect your heart, protect your feelings 100%.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's you can't I just don't I've never understood when people only think of themselves.
Agreed.
You don't I mean, I
Jamie on Yellowstone.
Ugh. Don't be Jamie. Don't be
So funny.
Jamie. Oh my
So
gosh,
funny.
he just like just
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, y'all stay tuned for whenever we figure out how to work that episode. And
Yeah.
I
For real.
mean, because
Anyway,
there's a lot to unpack with Yellowstone. We could do that. We really could just do a whole episode about Yellowstone. Okay. I'm not gonna spoil it.
dude, no, I'm here for it though because I love it. And don't worry, I'm binging it, so I'll get caught up soon to where I can be ready in November. I'll be way done before November.
Yes.
So
I'm so
anyway,
excited.
any any other thoughts that you have on this? My biggest thing is just like when you see these people, please take it with a grain of salt and realize
Mm,
there's something deeper that they're trying to work through. And this is
yeah.
not how every single piece of adoption is. That's my main reason for doing this topic today is you're going to see, and it goes back to hurt people like to hurt people. You
Mm-hmm.
always hear
Mm-hmm.
that. We are here to honor the hurt, but also to be like, it's really not every situation is like that.
It's not
Unfortunately,
every
they're going through
situation.
something super shitty. They are hurting like immensely.
Mm-hmm.
We pray for them. We hope they can figure crap out and build themselves back up. But like, please don't believe that. Please.
Well, and don't use those as your only source.
Yes.
Don't use that as your
Yes.
only source. Do a lot of research. Do your due diligence. And when you're a part of a community, educate. And if you're not a part of the community and you want to learn about the community, whatever the community is, whatever it is, find someone, find not just someone, find several someones that you can talk to and do your due diligence and do your due diligence with research. Don't stop at just one person. Like, I would not say like, just listen to me and Milena. I mean, we're kind of awesome. We're kind of smart, but you don't just listen to us.
Agreed.
Like
100% agreed.
Listen to the people we interview, go follow them, look at the people they follow, look at multiple resources before you
Agreed.
decide to form whatever opinion it is you want to form, and then never stop educating yourself so that you can stay true and strong in your opinion. And when you are in the community, never stop educating yourself, because it's not just about you and your story too. You have to learn about others, and you have to be able to,
100%.
I mean, there are plenty of things that I can't speak to. Like, I did not know a single thing. I mean, I knew a little bit about international adoption, but I didn't really know about it until I met you, Milena. I just didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know a lot about, fostering until, or not just fostering, but kinship adoption.
Well, that's the
I
thing.
didn't know anything about
We've
that.
learned so much with the couple guests that we've
Right.
had on, and that's why you always
And-
want to expand your circle. And I'm not saying it's like,
Absolutely.
don't not listen to the hard stories, but listen to the hard
Listen to
stories. Take
'em.
them with a grain of salt. Say a
Yeah.
little prayer in your heart for this person, and just be like,
Yes.
please, dear God, do something to help these people, and then move on and go find another happy-go-lucky story. Because I
Yes.
promise you, it's not just with adoption. There's always stories like that in this world. with
There's always terrible things that are happening in the world, but it's your choice to stay on just that,
Mhm.
or go, wow, that sucks, I'm going to pray for them.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this amazing, beautiful story. Because I'm sorry, perfect example, if you're having a bad day, go watch Good News Movement on Instagram. I cry all the
Love it.
time from joy,
know,
because
it's
it's
so
nothing
good.
but joy.
So good.
It's what you put in, it's what you choose to put in your brain. I had a friend of mine say, garbage in, garbage out.
It's true.
If you put garbage into your brain, garbage is going to come out, whether it's your
Exactly.
music, the TV shows, your books, whatever. If that's all you shovel into your mind, that's all you're going to spew out. And that's just irresponsible. That's being an irresponsible human. You can't, I don't know. I don't understand upset people. Okay. Yeah.
No, I agree. And I mean, clearly when we hear these things, me and Delancey, it upsets us, because the thing that's happening, again, I've said, if we did shots every time I said blanket tonight, like seriously though, like the blanket statement is what we don't love.
It's the blanket.
And
it's generalization. Yeah.
But this is my favorite thing, is like me and Delancey sit here and we talk it out, and the conclusion is they are saying some really shitty things, but in the end we know they're hurting. And the most we can do is just pray for them.
And every single time, have you noticed that when we talk it through and everything like that? And I'm sure people are listening to us going, God, these girls are nuts. But they could agree with us that the more we dig in and the more we go through it, just like, I mean, tonight we dug in deeper into her content.
I'm not gonna lie, we were very heated when we first started. Emotions were very high of like, what the fuck, and our guards were up. But as we started to go through things and read things, and even read some of the asinine shit that was on there, we realized, okay, this is really just a human that's hurting really bad.
Pain. Yeah.
And you just got to remind yourself that.
Yeah.
Same with people who have like a happy-go-lucky life. I'm sorry, but lives are not always fluff, 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 fluff.
No, they're not. That's called a highlight reel.
Yeah.
That's called a highlight reel, because not everything is perfect, but it's one of those things of, I think that goes back to, people need to remember too, you're allowed to have a knee-jerk emotional reaction.
Yes.
Be careful how you utilize it.
Yes.
Because I mean, we both had that, but we went to each other. We didn't take it out on other people. I recognized that my blood was about to boil. So I put the phone down and was like, I cannot. And I think I'm pretty sure I even told you, like, I cannot look at this right now.
Yeah. She told me that the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. And people, you have a right to tell someone, I cannot do this right now, and take a step away. But also, if somebody tells you they can't do something right now, respect that.
Right.
Respect it, because you're allowed to have knee-jerk reactions.
Yeah.
And like Milena did it. I'm not saying anything that, like, Milena did that so perfectly. She's like, girl, I hear you. I'll talk to you later. I'm like, she's like, girl, busy. I got you.
But like
Yeah.
Delancey's my partner in crime on this stuff. So a lot of the stuff I
Yeah.
see, I immediately send to her. But at the same time, I know if she's not in a headspace where she can't handle it. And I'm not gonna be like, no, bitch, you need to look at it now. No, it's just like
right.
I know her life was
Because I've had
crazy.
people
And so
do
it's
that.
like,
Yeah.
that's fine, girl. That's fine. Take your
Yeah.
time. And that's
And
the thing.
that's
Like
why
I love
ahead.
Delancey and I feel bad. She's always apologizing and stuff. I'm like,
I
I'm the
all the
most chill
time.
person ever. Like it's fine.
I know, but like still because it's because I've had somebody like when I told you like I'm sorry I'm sorry I can't do this right now and you're like, oh girl, I hear you, like I know you're super busy, we'll talk about this later. And I want to say even later that day I was like, we should do this for our next episode.
Yeah.
I've had somebody, and when I made the comment of, you know, respect that boundary when somebody tells you that, I've never had somebody like Milena, when I say I can't do this right now, immediately respond with, I totally get it. I understand. It's always been the knee-jerk reaction of that other person. It's always been like, what do you mean you can't talk about this right now? What do you mean you can't do this right now? And it's like, because it's not about you and I don't have the bandwidth.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like
my brain is not in a
that's
place where I can handle this shit right now. And that's
right.
fine. Like,
Right. Right. And as people, you have to understand that. So when you're not in that space, unfollow those accounts because you may
agreed.
not be in that space to be able to do that. I mean, Milena said it earlier. You may not be in that space to be able to do it. You may not be in a strong enough, secure enough place to where you don't fall back into the toxicity. Don't
Right.
fall into the toxicity of
Agreed.
this. And y'all can't see me, but
Agreed.
I'm motioning to my phone.
And it goes both ways. It's not just the nasty
Yeah.
people. It's the people who make them look like they live in these white, pristine houses and they have everything and perfect husbands and perfect families and perfect family and that their extended family does all this shit together. It's not like that. They
It's
fight, they
not like
bicker, they
that.
do all the stupid shit. They fight with their husband. Their kids aren't perfect. Like, hello, if you saw the reels going around about the Royals and where her son was like being a little a kid, just a kid. Her son was being a kid, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh!" And it's like, no, the Royals are humans too. Like they're just not perfect. Like
They're people too. I
yes,
swear. It's almost like people forget that someone else is a human being. Just like you and I catch it like on social media when people try to come after us, like they forget that we're human beings and like you can't just say whatever you want to another human being. That's just not, it's just not nice. I don't know how else to put that, but it's not a nice thing to do. And it just be a good human.
agreed, 100%. Just be a good human.
Just be a good human.
Yeah, agree. I agree.
I think we always come to that conclusion at the end of every podcast.
Probably
Just be a good human. It really does come down that.
It really does. It really does, though. So
I need to copyright that and put it on t-shirts.
it's true.
Just be a good human. The DM show.
And I'll bring you a hoodie when I come with that. You know how cool that would be? That'd be awesome. Anyway, okay. Any other thoughts you have on this? You guys kind of saw this is what I love that you actually saw like our
roller
thought pattern as this whole thing went out. But
yeah,
it's good. It's good.
That was fun. I hope y'all enjoyed our amusement park ride of this episode. because that's what happens. Sure. Like, I mean, I think everyone realizes by now that if it's just us, 9 times out of 10, we pick the topic and we're just like, okay, cool, we're gonna talk about it and we're just gonna go from there. Yeah. Like we might do a little bit of research if it requires it, but otherwise we just shoot from the hip and hope it works out.
And I actually like it because we like to keep it real. Like we're not going to be doing this scripted shit. I'm sorry. That's just
absolutely
not how we are. We like to have just open conversations, and eventually we'll get more guests on too. It's getting a little crazy with summertime. I get that, but there are some more people who I have asked to come on that would help us. So I've got to get those lined up. It's just so crazy with summer. It's so busy
with summer. I can say this. I am very glad it's summer and I know it's going to be crazy, but I at least get like a solid month of not having to go to 2 months of not having to do sporting events.
And then she's back at it.
And then I'm back at it again with football. Yeah.
I love her. She makes me to watch her YouTube. That's like my favorite thing about posting the little clips of the reels, because to Lancey's face, so you saw our last one when like she's like sitting there like listening to me, looking on her phone, and all of a sudden she's like, "Oh my god!"
that was I started cracking up in my office because I came through and it's like you see me on the phone, and then all of a sudden, are you kidding? Are you kidding? I was like, oh my god, Delancey, calm down. Jeez.
I love it. That's why I love doing this with her. So, okay. Well, if you don't have any more thoughts, we'll wrap this one up. But as always, like if you guys have any suggestions for topics for us too, I like asking that on social media to see what you guys think.
Yes.
I'll go back and check that again. Maybe I'll do another thing tomorrow. But seriously, like let us know. There's so many topics we can talk about. And I just need to go back through our
All
list.
the
We have a
time.
list.
We do have a list, and I feel like we just veered off the list a little bit just
Yeah.
because other things have come up. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like we're going somewhere.
It's true. We're not. We're not
We're
going
not.
anywhere.
We're here to stay, y'all. You're stuck with us now.
Yep. And thank you to those that listen to us. We so appreciate it.
We love you so much.
All right. Okay. Well, if that's it, then thanks, guys. And we'll catch you next week.